Industries. Tom Burke is with me, who chairs and was founding director of E3G and was a government advisor on climate change. My goodness, we hear about net zero and reducing our carbon emissions. We talk about carbon or storage, not storage, recapture. We talk about all these things. It's absolutely a part of our first language now, isn't it? An understanding of climate. But we all have to understand that there is a cost associated with that, don't we? Good morning to you.
Yeah, you're right. We do have to understand there's a cost associated with that, just as we have to understand that if we fail, if our climate policy fails, there'll also be a very big cost associated with that. So it's a question of which cost do you want to pay and when do you have to pay it. And yes, absolutely important that the government gets it right and has a sort of consistent and coherent plan, which it doesn't seem to have at the moment. Above all, if you really want to make sure you can get your the impact on the economy and particularly on people's bills at home down, then you've really got to do something about energy efficiency. And we frankly ignored that.
OK, what's the first step then?
First step is to spend the £7 billion that the government promised in its manifesto on energy efficiency, to start spending it. We're not spending it. The government's policy is being coherent, as we've seen, and I understand why business people feel very confused and stuff. We've had promise after promise after promise that we'll get the detail about what the government's plans are, going back to this time last year when we had the first of the Prime Minister announced his 10-point plan, but we've never heard any of the detail of who's going to spend what and when, who's going to have to pay what and when from the government. And so people are right to be very frustrated. Then you've had, of course, this immediate pressure come along, which has winded up everybody's anxiety about it quite a lot. Though I think, as the Minister says, Kwasi Kwarteng has said, do have to remember this particular pressure is short term. It's not going to last forever. It's a particular set of circumstances which have led to the current price spike. The best way to reduce your exposure to all those volatilities, whether you're a business or whether you're a homeowner, is by improving the efficiency with which you use energy. OK, so the efficiency of using energy, but we just don't have enough at the moment, do we? We don't store enough gas. We're too reliant upon others. Wind and solar can't supply our needs. And we have a problem with not enough nuclear either. It's an interesting set of circumstances to try and operate a business and a society, isn't it? Yeah, it is an interesting and difficult set of circumstances. Quite a lot of it is of our own fault. We haven't invested enough in the renewables and improving and upgrading the electricity system so it can cope with an increased proportion of our electricity coming from renewables. And renewables are coming in now cheaper than anything else in the market. We decided to close down our gas storage. We have the least gas storage of any country in Europe. We have about 8 days of gas storage instead of the typical 70 to 80 days. Now, that's a problem of our own doing. And if you don't have any storage, you're fantastically vulnerable to spikes in the cost. And also to others in other countries who do have stuff and sell it to us. And I'm talking about Nord Stream 2, but we really don't have time to be getting stuck into that at the moment. Appreciate your time early doors on a Sunday morning. That is Tom Burke, who chairs and was founding director of E3G, a government advisor on climate change.